But this border issue is coming to a school near you. Now, everyone has heard about the school, and I'll be highly surprised if you haven't heard about the schools in New York, where they're shutting down the schools, telling the students in the high schools that, hey, you can't go to school because we're bringing illegals there. Now, let me ask you a question, and y'all leave me a comment. The schools, when they said that they were going to have all the students in the high school do at-home learning, you dial in, you connect to do your schoolwork, did you think that was just a temporary thing, like just overnight, just one day type thing? Or did you think that it was going to be until otherwise said? The only reason why they're going to have people constantly stay at home and connect to do the schoolwork is because the school is going to be completely occupied for a great deal of time. Let me share this first one with you. This is on about the southern border, of course. And this was a parent, a concerned citizen, going to the school that her child attends while the illegals are getting off the bus. People, what I don't understand is, why is she the only one there? Why was she the only one there concerned about what's happening? Is New York that far gone? Is there anybody watching here right now that lives in New York? Maybe it wasn't your school. Maybe that's the reason why you weren't there. Maybe you had to go to work. I mean, it could be multiple reasons, but what about all the other parents that are at the school that were not there? Why is she the only one there? Watch this.
How does it feel that you kicked all the kids out of school tomorrow? How does it feel? You feel good? I hope you feel good. I hope you all sleep really well tonight.
Why are you yelling at them?
Because I have a right to. That's why. That's why. Because I'm an aggravated mother. That's why. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
And right there, bus full of illegals that they kicked the students out of the high school and they're bringing illegals in, housing them there. But because it was such an outcry of all of this, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked the same question about the students being kicked out of the school and bringing in illegals. Now, think about this. This was going to be a solution until they find a different solution, because they're running out of spaces. There's running out of locations to house these people that are in the country illegally, that have already broken the law. So Karine Jean-Pierre was asked a question by Peter Doocy about the whole situation in New York with the high school students not being able to go to school. And this is just another indication to tell everybody that these Democrats put America's last. They put all Americans last. If you're illegal, if you break the law, you're a Democrat, you come first. Just be our lawbreaker and we'll take care of you. But watch this. Now, because of the outcry, listen to what Karine Jean-Pierre says about this.
School in New York is having remote classes today because the building was needed to house people who came into this country illegally. So what is the president's priority in this case? Is it the migrants or is it the students?
So let me just clear this up a little bit. So yesterday, New York City informed us that as a precaution, they would temporarily relocate migrants staying at Floyd Bennett Field to a nearby high school. As of this morning, all migrants have returned to the facility at Floyd Bennett Field. And so anything specific as to the program and what decided to do and all of the specifics to that, I would certainly refer you to New York City for any additional questions.
Of course, meaning I don't want to talk about it because there's Democrats that did this. And look, they've all been put back because of the outcry. Not only did you have concerned conservatives, Republicans talking about this, you had Democrats in New York City talking about this very thing too.
I mean,
you say you're kicking us out. You're kicking my children out. We voted for you. We support you. But now you're hitting us. It's a domino.
Well, you said Charlemagne even brought this up as a point of
Charlemagne the fraud on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. He said he was even disgusted with this. Right? I
yes.
mean, this is crazy.
Charlemagne. So for those of you that don't know, Charlemagne, he's the one that was with Joe Biden when he said,
and you ain't black.
Y'all remember that? He said that you ain't black. That's the guy that Joe Biden was talking to. If you have to decide whether, listen.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for
It's
me
me or the other
Trump,
guy. If you don't vote for
black.
me, you ain't. If you can't figure that
Right,
out,
you ain't black,
yeah.
right? That's right there. So Joe Biden was saying that, right?
If you have a problem
play it
figuring
again.
out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Right? That guy right there is now saying that Joe Biden and the Democrats are making it really easy to say America first. He's saying this. I don't know why, if you're in America, you're not saying America first in the first place. It's like idiotic not to say it. But he's saying it's making it really easy to side with the Republicans because this is hurting the black and brown communities more than any other community because they don't want the illegals in their community. Here's a prime example of what's happening in Chirac with this border situation, talking about black people. It's affecting them more than anybody. But for some reason, throughout the many years, and I don't understand this being a black person, these people know that the Democrat Party is not for them. They've been a party of slavery, but yet they still turn around and vote for them because they get their ears tickled every 2 to 4 years to vote for Democrats. But I think you're getting to the point where they're fed up. And the poll numbers for President Trump when it comes to the black community are soaring through the roof, and I love it.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have. Are you aware that there are immigrant advocates at state houses all over this country who are advocating for non-citizen voting in local elections? What if that happened here? That would change the mindset of what we as a black community need to thrive here in Chicago. That's a concern of ours. This is much bigger than the mayor of Chicago or Chicago Police Department. This is an effort to destroy our neighborhoods and silence our voices even further.
Right there. I'm telling you, they are like getting to the point. I mean, I think they're already past that point. I've never seen so many black people upset with the Democrat Party out in the open with it. And I've said this multiple times too, that President Trump needs to be removed.
But the bigger question is, Will, and
let me finish.
Okay.
I've said this, that President Trump needs to be removed. In order for people to see the truth, to understand how bad it is with the Democrats, President Trump had to be set to the side just for a short time. In order for people to actually see. Because see, as long as everything is kosher and everything is happy, everybody's good, they're going to go along with the Democrats. They're going to. And see, the Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot. What were you going to say, Shannon?
I was going to say, the big question is, though, whether or not that's going to turn into a vote for Trump, right? And I think it all depends, even what happens between now and November. What are the Democrats going to do in order to try to get that black vote? We've already seen, you saw, Biden this past, 3 or 4 days make a trip where he gave a speech on 9/11, very divisive. Then he went to the black churches, right, talking about how he started civil rights, which is totally a lie. Right? So he's trying to make moves, and now you have people on all the talk shows talking about, we need to talk about what the Democrats are doing for the blacks. But the blacks are literally sitting here just like that video saying, you're not doing anything for us. So is that going to turn into a vote against Biden? That's my question. What do you think?
I think it actually is going to turn into a vote against Joe Biden because many of them are saying reject the DNC when it shows up in Chicago. Of course, they're going to get a whole bunch of liberals, hardcore liberals that don't care, that rather see the country burn instead of President Trump going into office. They're going to show up. But a great deal of people, I would not be surprised me. You know what, Shannon? Let's see if we can find out when the DNC is going to happen in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Because how awesome would it be if I could go to the DNC when it happens in Chicago with the microphone and the camera and interview people, because they already said that they're going to be protesting the DNC.
Do you think they'll let you in?
I don't need to go in. if they're going to be
you can do it in the
protesting
street.
outside, I can just go out there and talk to people. Let me ask you a question. Did you vote for the Democrat Party last year? And they go, absolutely. Or the year before? Yes, absolutely. What changed your mind? Right? So if I can make it work, if it's possible, I will make a trip to Chicago if it's possible, if it's feasible. I will most definitely do that. While you're looking that up, let me share this other one with you. And this is something for everybody watching right now. And I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I'm going to share this with you. To my understanding, this is the lieutenant governor out of Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken. She's asking you, everywhere actually, to open up your homes to these illegal criminal terrorists that are coming into our country. How many of you are going to open your homes?
Most importantly, if you have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Worker Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well. And if you're a hotel or a motel owner, consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too. We can connect you with service providers to help transition families into permanent housing. Everyone has something they can offer.
You know, the first time I heard about this happening was in Europe. In Europe, they were actually forcing citizens in Europe. They were actually forcing citizens in Europe to do that. You understand what I'm telling you? They were forcing them. They had extra places in their home. They were forcing them to show up. They were saying, show up, open your doors to these illegals coming in. And then they were stealing stuff out of their homes like it was nothing, stealing stuff straight out of their homes. So here's another one that I want to share with you, and this is about the southern border, of course. The southern border, major issue on the southern border. And remember when Mike Johnson, and you know Mike Johnson, I hope he turns around. I mean, he's kind of like, oh my goodness, why? But anyways, remember they went down to the southern border to expose what was happening, and the Biden regime moved all the illegals to a different location so they would not be seen on the camera. Well, one of the young ladies that was down there, Mary Miller, she decided, go ahead and split screen, and she decided to stay a little bit longer and visit one of the ranches down there and talk to them and see for herself different other things that was taking place. Shut down the border. Shut down the border.
Illinois actually is a sanctuary state, rolling the red carpet out, expanding benefits for illegals. Biden and the Democrats have advertised, facilitated, and incentivized this invasion. Last week, after going down to the border with Speaker Johnson, I stayed an extra day to go visit a Texas ranch. Their ranch is being destroyed by illegals. The migrants are coming over by the thousands. The clothing piled up was knee-high. Their pecan trees have been destroyed, and they have found hundreds of bodies this past year on their property. I will not vote to fund the invasion of our country, and I will not vote to fund the government until we shut down and secure the border. We must secure the border or stop funding the Biden government that is orchestrating this invasion.
Yes, shut down the government. Shut down the stinking tyrannical government. But they don't want to do that. They want the invasion to continue to happen. They love it. Terrorists after terrorists coming into the country, destroying something near you soon. Well, listen to this one with Marjorie Taylor Greene, because, of course, the government state media, they have a hard time understanding the words coming out of her mouth.
With the Senate at this point, it seems like we'd be headed for a shutdown if we're suddenly changing
We
the
don't
top
have
line
to.
number at the last point.
We don't have to shut down.
What would
That's
we do
why,
instead?
Well,
if there's
it
no
doesn't
agreement on
have
the
to
top line?
be either CR or shut down. We can do a very limited government funding bill that just keeps the basic functions of the government going. Because like I said, if you're a business on the verge of going out of business, that's what you have to do. You have to make cuts to keep your doors open. If you're a household that you're on the verge of losing your house, losing your car, many Americans are in that position right now because of the government. and the inflation that we're under. Many of my constituents, they can't afford so many things because the amount of money that this place and all these idiots that have been here for decades have done to them. So it's time for this Congress and it's time for the Senate. And I don't care what Schumer says, he's over 80 years old and he's part of the problem because he's been here too long. It's time for them to wake up and realize, no, you can't fund all the government programs that you want to fund. The American people are fed up with it, and we have to close the border. That has to be done.
We have to close the border. You know what? If you're not going to shut down the border, then shut down the government. Pick one of them. Pick one of them, right? You have to do one or the other. So if you're going to shut down the border, then okay, limited government, stay open. But there's some of the stuff need to shut down, like all the woke policy programs that they have going. Shut it all down.
100%. Let's start with NGOs, can I say?
Yes. Shut down all of the NGOs. You know what? The NGOs need to be shut down regardless if the border shut down, regardless if the government shut down. Regardless or not, the NGOs need to be shut down, period.
Yeah, that was actually part of what the Republicans passed in their border bill to shut down the NGOs.
And that's why the Democrats are trying to keep it.
Yep.
Let me share this one with you on the way to our break here. This is President Trump talking about deporting all of them. Watch this, and we'll be right back.
We have millions and millions of people here. It is not sustainable. Did you see in New York City where they're getting the regular students out and they're putting migrants in their place? We are going to have the largest deportation effort in the history of our country.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.